thinking, what could possibly be busier than Churchill Downs backside? Well, how about going inside an official Kentucky Derby Milliner? Naila Spencer is over at Formé Millinery, catching up with Jenny Fannensteel, where apparently, Naila, they cannot make enough hats this week.
Oh my goodness, yes, Claudia. They've made so many this week. Just before we get started, I want to do a special shout out to Mad Hatter 502 and to Mama Lee Boutique. They dressed me today, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So we are here in Formé Millinery, where all the magic happens with Jenny Fannensteel. So, you know, you're the man, the myth, the legend, or the woman, the myth and legend. Tell me about what you do and how you became the first, or not the first, but the official milliner of the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, so it's like winning the Miss America pageant for hats. That's kind of the best way to describe it. It's just truly an honor to partner with Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby, and being the second featured milliner of to be recognized in 148 years for my craft of millinery. I make all of my hats from scratch using a technique that dates back over 200 years. So just to be recognized for my passion is truly an honor.
It's amazing. And stepping in here, you guys, it is so beautiful. You see so many colors, so many different types of hats, fascinators. I'm in awe. So tell me a little bit about how long did it take to make one hat? How long does it take to make one?
It's about a 3 to 4 day process because I'm molding the material over old wooden hat forms of all different shapes and styles. And then it has to dry overnight, and then I hand stitch it all together. So it's quite a process. It's certainly not a 30-minute ordeal. So it's very time consuming, a lot of hand stitching, but I enjoy it very much.
And so tell me some more about the process, what you do, how long you've been doing it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been making hats for 14 years. I actually started sewing when I was 5 years old, cross stitch, for those people out there that have been around the block for a little while. But I grew up in a family that, my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, they all sewed my clothes and toys and things like that. So naturally, I think it made sense for me to go on to costume design school. And I went to the Art Institute of Colorado in Denver and thought I would do costumes for the rest of my life. And I moved to Chicago to pursue costumes and did that for quite some time, and made costumes for Cirque du Soleil and for movies and commercials. I did a Grammy dress for Margaret Cho, who's a famous comedian. But I'd always loved hats, and I incorporated them into my costumes, but never really knew what I was doing. And then I ended up going to Australia and learning the traditional techniques of hat making, and fell in love with the process. And since I knew how to hand sew, it just came very natural, and decided to change gears, and 14 years later, here I am.
Yes, and we are lucky to have you. So let's talk about your look, because one thing that we're all excited about for Derby this year is the fashion. So Tell me about, I love that we're coordinating, first of all. We both have red going on. Tell me about what you have on now.
Well, this is a boater, so it's a simple, classic style. I know that a lot of times when you think of Derby, you're thinking of lots of feathers and flowers and height and so forth. But I do hats for all seasons and occasions, and even just those simple, classic looks that maybe you can think about wearing this hat to another occasion. So maybe another race, or maybe to a wedding or garden party. So hats, can be worn for all occasions.
Awesome. And since we know we're a couple of days away from the official Derby, tell us, what are some trends that we're probably going to see on the track?
I would say fascinators. Fascinators have always been popular during Derby, especially since the Kate Middleton wedding. But I would say more than I've ever seen this year, just fascinators have just been flying off the hook. So, bright colors are always, of course, play a big part, but reds, oranges, navies, yellows, and greens, those are all been very popular colors this year. But fascinators seem to be the way to go over the big brimmed hats.
Yes, I'm excited to see what everybody's wearing. So we will be right back with you guys to show the process and how she designs them, how she makes everything. Back to you, Claudia.